I'm actually
The thing is, when I moved here to study, it became kind of boring because Slovenia is like such a small country.
Grandchildren, very
When you
spoiled.
think about it and it
When we
didn't
landed in
happen to
Atlanta,
you,
that
you're
was
like,
first time.
you have to
All the
talk.
thoughts
What I
went
like
away.
in
First time I
Azerbaijan
saw that,
is that you can
disappear.
always see
and
something
they don't
changing.
agree
Yeah, they
with
were
my
really,
kind
really,
of
really,
living. They
really
had
poor
problems.
before they came back to.
So because this is my life, this is not their life.
When you ask two people to tell you something interesting about them, they will tell you, I don't have anything special, I don't have anything to say, I'm not a really interesting person. We often think that only known people or celebrities have a life that is worth telling. But this is not true. We all live things. That's what I want to know. My name is Lison, I come from France, and I want to discover the stories behind people, and I'm sure you have a lot to say. For this first episode, I welcome Francisco. He's a 26 years old Portuguese, actually working as a volunteer in CMK, the youth center of Koper. And we will discuss about his family, in which kind of context he grew up, the pressure his mother put on him, and finally how he built his own path. Good listening.
I was born in the. Let me see. From my mother's side, yeah, they were really, 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 really poor before they came back to. Before they came to Lisbon, they were from the rural area of Portugal called Alentejo. Yeah, they were really, really poor. I think the first woman in my family that learned to read was my mom, because my grandma still doesn't know how to read or write. So they were really, really poor. So my women usually, when they were about 5 or 6 years old, they would go work in a rich person house. Yeah, and they were hard-working people from the interior. Then they came to Lisbon, I think in the 60s, maybe. In the 60s they came to Lisbon. And despite that, I was the first one, I think, in my family to be born in Lisbon. Yes. Yeah. All of them, even my mom, were born in the countryside, yeah. They were left-wing people, but despite that, they were very, very Catholic. And I was born in a very religious sort of environment, yeah. From my father's side, they also came from the same region, actually, by coincidence. They came also more or less in the 60s to Lisbon, but they were a bit better in terms of money, yeah. They were...
And they met like in Lisbon, your father and your mother?
No, my father and my mom, yeah, in Lisbon, in school. They actually went to school when they were kids, like 5th grade, I don't know, like when you're 11, 10, maybe 10 years old, they met for the first time, but they hadn't anything with each other. But after that, after a lot of years, they reconnect, I think, when they were like 23, 24, yeah. And I was born when my father was 26 years old, actually the same age I am now, yeah. They're very different times, very different times, yeah.
And you have like 2 sisters, right? Younger than you?
Yes, both of them, yeah.
And they're born in Lisbon too?
They are both born in Lisbon, but they're not. We don't share the same mom, only the same dad, and they are from different women. So the youngest sister was born and raised in Lisbon. She lives in the center of Lisbon, actually. The other one was born in Lisbon but lives now with my father and my stepmom. Yes. My stepmom, yeah. And they live nearby Lisbon, like 30 kilometers away from Lisbon, like in more countryside, yeah.
But did you grow up like with your sister?
No.
So you never lived in the same house altogether?
Only for a year, yes. Only for a year when I was 18, yeah.
So you grew up like you were kind of alone, like not with your sisters? How was it to grow up like a unique child?
Yeah, I mean, but I was kind of a unique child, but to be honest, I was always with my cousins, who, by the way, are also girls. I just have girls in my family. I'm like the only boy, and yeah, I was raised with them together by my grandma. It was nice because I had like a lot of presents just for me. Yeah. I was the first grandchildren, you know, very spoiled. Yeah.
And like, did you miss to be with guys, or because you were like raised by women basically?
Not really, because I had my male friends were in school, so I saw them every day. We played football together. Yeah, I had a lot of friends because I was playing football. I had like music classes, so I had a lot of male friends. I did not miss male friends or male relatives because I was the only boy. I was really spoiled, and I loved it, of course. You know, it was my grandmas, my cousins, my mom, and some aunts as well. It was awesome, yeah.
Did you live like with your mother and your dad?
No, only they were separated. They got separated when I was like 3 years old, so I don't even remember them together, to be quite honest. So yeah, I lived with my mom, but I saw my father all the time. Yeah, like 4 times a week.
And how your mother talked to you when you were like young?
How did she talk to me?
Yeah.
She was quite. How do you say it? She really wanted me to be like to have the best grades in school, and I had to be the best in everything. I don't remember, yeah, but she wanted that I always give my best. So sometimes it wasn't easy because, for instance, in school, I could not. I remember until the 9th grade, I could not ever have like a grade that was below 90%. If I had 89%, my mom would be very, very mad, yeah. So I was like one of the best students. I had very good grades until 9th grade, yeah. And that part I didn't like, to be quite honest, because it was, you know, my friends' moms, they sometimes it seemed like they didn't care if their kids had like good grades or not, because they were constantly having like, you know, 50%, 52%, and fine, if I ever got a 52%, it would be dramatic. Exigent. My mom was exigent.
So you had like a lot of pressure.
Very, yeah. And I had to, because I had a lot of stuff, you know, these extracurricular activities, my mom always like kind of forced me in a good way, like I played football twice a week. I had 3 times a week I had music classes, and then 2 times a week I had English classes, and swimming as well. Once a week I went to the swimming lessons, and all my friends, what they did was when classes were over, they just gathered around, played football and played, and I never had that. I was always like, so. Yeah, that much. That part was a bit, too much.
So yeah, not a lot of free time, let's say. Like
None.
easy timetable.
None.
Your mother asked you to do some studies, or?
Some studies.
Yeah, like after high school, did you do some studies?
Yes, university.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She like pushed you to do specific stuff, or?
No, not really. The only thing she did in terms of, she wanted me to go to science, you know. In Portugal, I don't know if in France is the same thing, but in Portugal, when you end the 9th grade, when you begin the 10th grade, you have like specific courses. We had like human sciences, which was languages, philosophy, geography, whatever. History, and my mom wanted me to go to the science, which is of course the most difficult. and so she kind of forced me into going to science, and yeah, it was hateful. I was like 3 years of my life very, very bad because I hated mathematics or chemistry and all that stuff. Was really, really boring. Yeah.
But what would you like to do at this moment? Like, not mathematics, but what was your like expectation at this moment?
I wanted languages, linguistics. I wanted literature, you know, and I ended up going to translation, which I love, and I'm kind of good at it, so it's nice. I studied that, and I never knew that I liked it. You know, before I started translating. Now I love it, and yeah, I started from the 10th grade to the 12th grade because of I was studying science. My grades were very bad, very bad. After that, I started getting quite the good grades in university. So things were easy. Of course, I failed a lot of subjects, but I failed because I wasn't going to classes, you know. But in the end, I got quite the goods, average, and yeah, it ended up all right. Yeah.
And how your mother react to this kind of changement of studies, let's say?
You know, she didn't mind. She did not mind, I think, because I think she understood that science was not for me. You know, it was pretty much obvious that science was you. I think even today, I think you have to have a natural talent to science. I mean, of course, everybody wants to go to science because supposedly you have the best jobs, you have more opportunities, and the jobs are better paid, and if you're good at science, that's true. You have a lot of open doors. But I just wasn't made for that. I mean, it was completely not my thing.
That's not what you wanted to?
No, not at all. I could not see myself. Even if I wanted to, I wouldn't be able to. If I went to medical school, which I would never do, of course. But if I went to chemical engineering or whatever, or physics engineering or aerospatial, first I didn't have the grades to go to those courses. Yeah, but I cannot imagine myself. You have to be just a certain type of people that are good for that, and I'm more did. You know,
And you spent like 3 years there in mathematics?
3, actually 4, because I failed, and I spent 1 entire year studying for mathematics because I had an exam, so I had to study a lot. And in that year, I only attended to mathematics classes. I studied with my mom paid for this professor to help me study to mathematics.
Private lessons?
Yes, exactly. And with 1 year of studying private lessons from 0 to 20, I only got 9.9, which is good. You know, I think that pretty much says it all in my ability of doing mathematics. I mean, I really suck at it.
Never wanted to stop like before the end?
Yes, she didn't let me. She said no. Yeah, I wanted to go to human sciences, I think they call it, course, and she said no, I don't buy it. You have to be here. You have to study this. You began. Well, the thing is, she didn't want me to change because I would like go back 1 year. But the thing is, I got 1 year plus there for mathematics, so it wouldn't mind. But yeah, she has their fixed ideas, and if she thinks that's the correct thing to do, it's the correct thing to do. Yeah.
So I imagine that you had some fights with her.
1,034,3 fights.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Teenage years, very bad. From my 14-year-old until my 21, 22 years old, it was quite 10 years of fighting.
Crazy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And is it better?
Oh, much better, yeah.
And what about your father?
My father is much more chilled. my father is very funny because my father always wanted me to do something creative, you know.
Also, it's kind of the opposite of your mother.
Completely. They are the North and the South Pole, you know, completely. Well, not the North and the South Pole, more like the North Pole and the Ecuador, whatever, because they're really completely different. And my father always wanted me to be, you know, active and to be prolific and to be doing anything because, you know, I can play a couple instruments and I'm an okay writer, and you always wanted me to focus on that. And my mother too, of course, but my mom was more like, you have to think about your future. You have to think of what you want to work in, if it's doable, if there's money involved, and the professional side of it. My father was more like the creative.
And your sisters, they have this passion too, or?
My youngest sister is totally science and sports. Totally science and sports. And the other one is totally she's in the art school. She like painting, decoration. You know, she is 15 years old. The other is 14 years old. So she's like makeup, being beautiful, the clothes, you know, shopping, you know, beautiful things. Yeah, she's that kind of girl. And my youngest is like, she doesn't care what she dresses like. She just wants us to play ping pong. She's really good at it, and she wants to be a biologist. You know, completely different. Yeah, completely different.
And what kind of relationship you have with them?
Yeah, very good. Thankfully, yeah. I see one more than the other because, you know, we don't live together, but yeah, we have a very good relationship.
And for the future, like now you're doing an MBS. Do you know what you want to do like next, or do you have some pressure about that too for your mother?
No, not really. I mean, I just have to be working, you know. I'm 26, I have to have my own money. I don't like to work, to be honest. I hate working. Working in the concept of working like from 9 to 5 with a boss, with these schedules, that's very, very difficult for me. I don't think I can. I've done that before, but you know, it's tough to me. I know some people who don't mind. I think nobody really loves working, but for some people it's quite alright. For me, it's just a nightmare. So I do translations from how do you say it? Freelance, exactly. Yeah. So it's a perfect job for me. They give me this text about whatever, and they say, "Can you translate it till Friday?" I can't. Yeah, I can. I have my own schedule. I can wake up at 2:00 in the afternoon and be working until 4 a.m. and the text gets done. You know, it's ready, and I love it. And then I get the money, and another text comes. I mean, that's awesome for me. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. I would have no problems in doing that forever, to be honest.
Like about the Portuguese culture, is there a Portuguese way to with children?
For such a small country, I mean, I think we have too much personality. We are lazy. We're very, very lazy. I know that some countries in Europe have this stereotype about the Portuguese and the Spanish. I mean, I don't know much about the Spanish, but I guess it's quite the same. But yes, that stereotype is absolutely true. We are lazy. I love my culture. I love my country. But there's certain stuff that I just cannot. I mean, being late all the time. I don't get it. Why, if people arrange a meeting to 3 p.m., why in the hell are they getting out of their apartments at 3 p.m. if they needed to be there at 3 p.m.? No, they really do this. They do this all the time, between friends, between co-workers, between everything. It's just like this culture of being late that the Portuguese seem to think of it as something like that's acceptable. And for me, it's completely unacceptable.
Yeah, but about the way you grew up, like, I mean, is there a Portuguese, let's see, way
Well,
to raise children?
Yes, I think not in every aspect of the education, but for instance, for food, I would say it's very, there's a lot of, it's very important for the Portuguese to raise the kids to know how to eat well, and you cannot leave no food on the plate, and you have to respect the meal time, because the Portuguese, you cannot eat, for instance, I've seen people in families, I think even Americans do this, which is like dinner time, they get their dish, they go to their room and they eat by themselves. It's never happening in my place for sure. I can promise you that. We have to sit down at the table and eat all together. That's the way to do it, and there's no other way admissible. And yes, in that I was raised like that, for sure.
I mean, your mother has a specific role in the family, like.
Yeah, she's kind of the leader of my family.
Yeah.
She wants to be. I don't know if the rest of the family sees her like that, but she wants to decide everything, to have the last word in every matter. You know. Yeah, she's that person for sure.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you want to participate, to talk about a specific topic or something that happened to you, you can send me a private message on Center Mladi Koper Facebook page. I will be really happy to meet you. See you soon for a new story.